Workhouse Studio, Latent Future is focused on the world where the domestic and workspaces are reunited and are creating ubiquitous environments. In this world, the definition of the space will be much more loose, and the activities and experiences of the daily life will have exceeded the structure that contains them, becoming more fluid, interconnected, and seamless than ever before. The logic that sustains the practice of architecture will be shifted. At the forefront of this shift, there are numerous co-working living spaces that have appeared in the past few years. A Cambrian explosion of the niche co-working living spaces has emerged to serve specific industries, interests, and communities. During this time of critical evaluation and experimentation, co-working living becomes an indicator of the broader shift brought about by developments in technology, changes in the lifestyle, and the rise of the shared economy. This shift becomes a lens to understand how our present moment may impact the future of architecture. Under this hypothesis, this research studio is exploring what the phenomenon of co-work living means for architecture, and how it can serve as a catalyst for a series of mutually beneficial, thoughtfully coordinated programmatic relationships. We believe that this approach will lead us to a series of new building types, which helps us to envision the future of our living environment today. Following key questions are asked. What is the role of architecture in contemporary collective life? How can architecture catalyze programmatic relationships that produce value and respond to changing ideals of society? How can we critically engage the economics of architecture? How do sharing economies and changing patterns of habitation impact the way we consider space use and ownership? What is the value of spatial proximity when decentralized communication allows work and life to happen anywhere? How can we address the fragmentation of physical spaces and the emergence of new type of communities? Being in the situation under COVID-19, this tendency will be accelerated. The students are working in group of 2 for initial research about various co-working living spaces in the fall. They extracted the key concept from the research and turned it into the essay in the studio publication. They continued to work as a group designing the programmatic ecosystem throughout the winter, and then work individually for the design of the building for the final. This year, the studio is divided into 2 groups. First group is working on the site in Nihonbashi, Tokyo, and other is working on the site in Los Angeles. Unique characteristic of Workhouse Studio is that instead of responding to existing sets of conditions, the students are asked to come up with a design of the ecosystem, creates the unique condition, and produce its own reality for their projects through entrepreneurial approach. Students need to show how the ecosystem functions, prove its sustainability, and show how it withstands the real condition of the world. Students do this by proposing and designing the business plan for their project. This approach might be seen as a stretch from traditional role of architecture, but maybe there are the new sets of qualities necessary for architects in an era when the space is so flux and unstable.